of going through something similar right now. He has to learn how to lose. And the whole team does. And this brings me to a quote that I'll never forget hearing from former NBA player and former NBA coach. I don't know if he's coaching right now. He was coaching with Toronto last year with Nick Nurse, but Earl Watson, who was also a part of the Austin Spurs coaching staff for a while before he became a head coach of the Phoenix Suns back in the day, was speaking on team. I got to hear him speak on team building, and something that he always tells his teams when he was the head coach of Phoenix, and I'm sure he still preaches it to this day, is that as a player, you have to not fall in love with winning, right? And he told us that, and that's something that I preach in my programs too, is that you cannot fall in love with winning, and you cannot like hate losing so much where it affects your passion and your motivation. And that's because winning is folly, right? It's not winning is it's not real. And that's not what you should fall in love with as an athlete if you're dedicating yourself to a sport or to anything really. Because he used a great example in saying, there was games where he felt that his team played their best. They did absolutely everything right. They executed. The effort was there. The attention to detail was there, and they still lose. Right? That happens all the time in sports. Those are great games. You're seeing great sporting events in those scenarios, but someone has to lose. So it happens. Does that mean that y'all didn't play well? Does that mean that it's not that there's nothing positive to take from the loss? No, absolutely not. And it's the same thing on the other hand with winning. If you've ever been a part of a successful team where you're blowing teams out all the time, I've luckily have been a part of that, where you don't have to play your best and you're still winning by 20 because the other team just they don't got it. They don't got it like that, or either if it's talent or coaching or whatever. You can play bad and still win. So should you feel good about yourself after that win, after a terrible performance? No. And that's why you don't fall in love with winning. And it's a great lesson to learn. And a lot of the questions that get asked after being told that is like, well, then coach, what do we fall in love with? And this is where Earl Watson hit it on the head. Earl Watson said, you don't fall in love with winning. You fall in love with playing the right way, because through the process, you got to understand that the whole journey of a season is a process, and there's many of ups and downs along the way. But if you fall in love with doing the little things right and and playing for your teammates, putting the effort in on defense, communicating, being effective communicators, being, coachable, all those things, taking the lessons from the losses, that is how you progress throughout a seasons of ups and downs, where even through the downswings, you've gotten better. Because you've understand. And even through some wins, that you feel, oh, we played pretty good or we won by 20, well, there's always still room for improvement. And that's the mindset that you have to have. It's a growth mindset, knowing that no matter what happens, you're in it for the journey, and you're in it because you love to play and do things the right way. And I feel like that's what is going to be taught and to Wembanyama this season. And that's because he is such a competitor, and he's spoken on this multiple times that he loves winning. It's the favorite thing of his in life. And I feel like that needs to be brought down a little bit, because this is the NBA. It's very, very, very hard to win. And if you're going to play 15 years in the NBA, hopefully you win 2, 4 championships, 5 championships. That's like 10 years of not winning. You know what I mean? So, you got to keep going. Giannis had a great quote this past year on that as well. But I'm sure the Spurs are preaching this not only this season, but for the past few seasons, for these guys that have been in the locker room and have had to endure these past few years. But especially for Wembanyama moving forward, I can really hope that that's the kind of voice that's the messages that he's hearing, not just from coaches, but former players and his teammates. So once he buys into the process, excuse me, then I think we're going to be just fine.